Okay, so how much of a break should you take? I say after a hard, stressful season, take 10 days off. That seems to be magic. Maybe during the middle of summer, take 5 days off, 6, 7 days maybe. So, you know, people say, "Oh, you're gonna burn that kid out." I'm like, he's only wrestling 2 hours a week. Some of them 4. You just finished a high school season where you had morning practices, you had evening practices, you were cutting weight, you had a dual meet on Tuesday. That's stressful. Tournament Friday night, tournament Saturday, getting up at 5 a.m. I mean, dude, if 2 hours was going to, a week out of 168 hours was going to burn my kid out, he would have quit the second week of season. Youth wrestling, 3 practices a week, wrestling tournaments every Saturday, sometimes every Sunday. Dude, my kid would have burned out a long time ago. 2 hours a week is a break. Because think about it, if you are doing that, you're practicing 2 hours a week, right? So that's, 52 weeks. You're getting, 104 hours of training in? 52 hours of live, right? 52 hours of live, what's a 50 times 60 is 3,100, 3,120, I think. Over 3,000 minutes of live wrestling. You're like, just wrestling once a week isn't even worth your time. Yes, it is, because you get 3,000 minutes of wrestling, over 3,100 something, 3,120. The average match is 5 minutes. Let's say in high school, the average youth match is probably 3. So the youth kids are getting 1,000 matches worth of live. The high school boys and girls are getting 660 or 70 matches worth of live just by going one day a week for 2 hours, 52 hours of drill time, right? So I think 2 hours a week is a break. I don't think you're going to burn out, because if you were, you would have burned out a long time ago. We discussed that. And I think during that time of year, hey, maybe if you're on the mat 2, 3 days a week, I like the more advanced middle school and high school kids who literally are actually going for the college wrestling scholarship and opportunity, and they really want to be a national champion in high school. I'd be on the mat 3 times a week. In off season, I'd be in the weight room 3 times a week, and then twice a week I would combine those so that we're doing both in one time. That way you get a few days a week off just to do nothing. I think that's important too. But that's what my nephew is doing. So I'm practicing what I preach. That's what my son did. So, yeah, but I think 10 days is just perfect. And I think anyone who's telling you that you're going to burn your kid out, they're probably not wanting you to get an advantage, because you're doing something that they're not willing to do, right? And think about doing multiple sports. Hey, maybe instead of doing select baseball, where you're spending $10,000 a year and you're traveling the nation like a rock and roll star playing baseball, just do the St. Charles County baseball. Do basic baseball, right? You don't have time or the money probably to do the super duper advanced extreme baseball. Now, if you want to be a professional baseball player, then who cares about wrestling? Just wrestle when it's season and focus on baseball. It's tough to really focus on both and say, I want to be an NCAA champion in baseball and wrestling. You might find that one guy that's done it, but I don't think it's done, right? It's very rare where a college will allow an athlete, especially in Division I, to do 2 sports. The Iowa kid, they just did that at University of Iowa. He's Iowa football and wrestling. But something's going to give there, I think. I don't think he'll be able to do both. So you probably can't do both anyway, because the colleges aren't going to allow it. So is it child abuse to encourage your kid to maybe pick one when they start getting at the end of their career? I don't think so, because the colleges are going to require that. So, but maybe you're doing baseball, you're in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th grade. Just do basic baseball. You don't have to do the hardcore stuff, and then you have more time for wrestling. If you want to be a college wrestler, that's the goal. Let's focus on more of this and less of this that we really don't care about. And, you're going to really set yourself up for success that way. But I do think that a nice break after the crazy season is good. I like breaks in season. Now, high school coaches don't do it. These kids are getting killed. I don't like morning practices. I don't think you should have a tournament every weekend. I don't think if the kid's allowed 50 matches that he should or she should always have 50. There's guys going into the NCAA tournament right now who are like 17-2. They got not 20 matches and their season's like 7 months. So the colleges aren't killing their guys anymore. So I don't like morning practices. I don't think you should cut weight until after Christmas and then everybody pulls down. So I'm a big fan of there's only so much rubber on the tire, right? So we want to not kill these kids and wear them out mentally and physically. But I do think after season, about 10 days is perfect. Even if they want to get back on the mat, don't allow them, force them to. And then during the off season, they need to be on the mat 2 hours a week year round because it does add up and it makes a big difference. And I think that realistically, understand about the college wrestling thing, because I know that's a real goal for a lot of us. You wouldn't tell your daughter or your son that, with a B- GPA and average classes, average performance and average classes, that they can go to Harvard. Well, you're probably not going to wrestle in college with average performance and average tournaments either. We got to take the big test. We got to compete on the big test. We got to get A's on the big test. And if you're not placing at the high school national level or Super 32s or some of these big tournaments, maybe you're in a big state with some hammer wrestlers and you're not beating or coming close to beating the top girls and guys in your state who are ranked in America, or at least beating most of the state champs and medalists that you come to face with. The ones you lose to, it's a good match. We got to perform at a high level when we're taking these big tests. So ultimately, it does come down to performance. So I don't think it's fair for us to tell our kids that hey, you can quit for 8, because taking 8 months of your off is quitting. That's not a break. You take 4 months off, that's quitting. I quit for 4 months, and it's okay. No one cares if you take 4 months off. No one cares at all, right? I certainly don't care. It's up to you. It's your life, and you can do what you want. Maybe you can make it work. But taking 4 months off, 6 months off, 8 months off is not a break. That's called quitting. And I don't think it's fair to tell our kids that they're going to get a chance to get a $50,000 scholarship and compete in college when they're not putting off-season time in and they're not performing at a high level when they're taking the big tests. It's just not fair to the kids, because what happens is they're like, what happened? I thought the scholarships were going to be here. Where's all the famous coaches? And they're not anywhere, because sometimes coaches and parents kind of just lie to their kids. But we don't lie to our kids, and we don't lie to our kids when it comes to going to Harvard or getting a college scholarship academically. We're like, honey, you want a scholarship? Come over here a minute. Let's pull up your grades. Let's look at the homework in your backpack that you did not bring home. Right? So let's just be honest with these kids and understand this. There's not a lot of time. Noah Certain, he's at Mizzou now. He's will be fighting for All-American trophy this weekend. He signed a letter of intent as a sophomore. That happens, right? I believe even Spencer Lee did to Iowa. Certainly by a junior, you're signing your letter of intent. And a lot of us early in our senior year. So when you're 18 and a half, it's over, okay? The dream is gone. Because when you graduate high school, you're not going to get recruited to wrestling college. It's over. You can get your high school diploma when you're 76 years old. You can't get a college wrestling scholarship when you're 18 and a half. It's over. So if you do want to wrestle in college, you got to start saying, I need coaches texting, calling, emailing me, calling my coach when I'm 17, maybe even 16. Certainly some get in late as 18 and a half, but by then a lot of the you're just crumbs, right? A lot of the schools their rosters are set, all their money is spent. You only get 9.9 scholarships per team at a division, at an NCAA level, junior college Division I and Division II. They don't give scholarships for NCAA Division III. And they burn up their 9.9 scholarships. So, even you don't want to, it's okay if you get the opportunity late in your senior year, but you really don't want that if at all possible. So, let's not think that we have time here, because we really don't. That's just some facts. So that's my thoughts. Good luck If we can help you in any way, we'd love to have you. We do college recruiting. Our service is at pearlwrestling.com. We average $37,000 per scholarship. So we're crushing it. And that doesn't include the military schools. It's like 64,000 when we include them, but we don't include, oh, by the way, Gavin Lensman, been in our room since he was a little fat 10-year-old. Now he's a hammer. Kerry Colott just recruited him. He's going to Navy. I just found that out this morning. So, we don't count those $250,000 scholarships. We don't count that because we are not going to be dishonest to you. But it is, it's either $34,000 or $37,000 is our average college wrestling scholarship earned by our athletes. And if we included those, it would be much more, but we don't do that because I just don't think it's fair. But if we can help in any way, we'd love to help you with your camps, clinics, online academy, master the best 272 wrestling techniques broken up into basics, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, four courses. Everything's divided up step by step. So even a non-wrestling dad can coach his kids, or mom, non-wrestler. You can learn from home. High school coaches and youth coaches, basics, phase, and phase 1 are practice plans. Tape them to the wall. That's all you need for your youth and middle school, freshman, JV, and varsity teams. And so our online academy is pretty tremendous as well. Either way, thanks for watching. Good luck.